From timid to tiara. This is Devanshi Puri for you. Miss India 2023, the International Glamour Project. This young lady is proactively breaking stereotypes, so she had to be on the paradigm shift. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the paradigm shift. I know we've been missing in action for such a long time. We promised to be regular and get a lot of young and interesting people. So stay tuned and watch this space for more. So let's get Devanshi. She's already here. Coming on. Hey everybody.
You see me? Just a second.
Yeah.
Hi, Auntie.
Yay! Of course, I can see you. That is so cool. I'm so happy that you wore your crown and your sash. That is so cool.
And I'm so happy that you're finally doing it. How are you doing?
I am fine, Devanshi. You know, guys, everybody, I must tell you that I know Devanshi since she was in kindergarten, and she's been such a sweet and timid and such a pretty young bacha, and now she is Miss India, and that is why my tagline for her was from timid to tiara. And if you've seen all the Hollywood movies, you would have seen, that's what I told Devanshi, you know, if you've seen all the Hollywood movies about reunions, it would always be that the most quiet bacha would turn out to be Miss India. And here you are proving that right. How cool is that?
That's amazing. In fact, it was the reason that brought me over here. So I can't be more than grateful for that.
Oh, that is so sweet. So should we just jump right in and let's start with all the questions?
Definitely.
Okay. So Devanshi, tell me, you know, in the life of a beauty queen, the moment that your name is announced, when two of you are standing there waiting for how was that moment? How did you feel?
That moment was so overwhelming for me, trust me, because from the time it was the finale. So we were in Igatpuri for a pre-finale shoot. So it was a 4-day drill. So we had so many scoring rounds and we were all into that. So we didn't even come to know how time flies. And the moment we came to Mumbai from Igatpuri, and in those 4 days, I could only have a minimum of 9 hours sleep cumulatively. And that moment was so overwhelming for me because it's like everything comes up all together. And that very moment when you are contesting for the finale, and when all the contestants are coming, walking the runway, and there's a whole family to cheer you. And for the first time, my family came for this thing because I think it's a first contest of mine, because this wasn't a part of my nature, but now it has become one with me. So the moment my name was announced as a winner, सबसे पहले तो ऐसा लगा that हाँ, family का सबका आना वसूल हुआ.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and then when they say that they are proud of me, that was the moment for which I did all this, and it was all so worthwhile because there is a support system that makes it this way. And all of y'all cheering for me. I remember we came in touch when you saw me more active on the social media. And it was so encouraging of you, my school teacher. So many people were actually wishing, they were collectively wishing for my win. And I think that has also brought into the luck factor, that 1% luck factor after that 99% of hard work. It is definitely a combination that got this moment to me.
Absolutely. I'm so proud of you. I have tears in my eyes again. That is so nice. So, you know, it is so, it just feels so surreal, you know, when you know someone and they win something like, you know, an award or a beauty pageant or something. It's just so overwhelming. That is so nice. Okay. Tell me, what has been, you already said it, but what has been your biggest paradigm shift and what have been the challenges in making this shift?
Yes, so the paradigm shift that I faced was turning from a completely timid and shy girl to a confident and bold woman now. And a lot of work has went into this, because trust me, a year back, if you would have met me and now that you're meeting me, there is a complete 360-degree difference, because it has been a lot of grooming, a lot of sheer hard work and dedication. And just before this contest, before enrolling for this pageant, firstly, I never knew that I will ever be a part of this pageant, which we will come to later. But when we had started this, was reading this book called Atomic Habits, and it was like small wins every day. It has an exponential effect when you see yourself improving throughout the year, and every day you learn something new, you become better. And at the end of the year, you see the effect, the multiplier effect that we call. So then I was very keen to know that does that really work? Because I was betting on it that, okay, it must work. It has worked for so many people. So this has definitely worked for me. And this pageant coming in my life, it was like, it was all the work of destiny, and definitely your efforts and everything. It completely changed me as a person. I dealt with my with the things that I was very uncomfortable with. For example, facing the camera confidently, public speaking. If you take a sneak peek to my Instagram profile and you see last year the videos that I had made, and I had decided to speak up anyhow. Ab kaisa bhi lage, I am not going to care, but at least I have started putting myself out there, and that people know that, okay, she is a shy woman. And there was definitely a risk, because everyone was so curious that, okay, what will happen now? What will happen now? There were so many DMs on my Instagram feed that, you know, good, you started speaking up. We want to hear more of you, more about you. And it was as if the followers who were following me from a decade, from the time I was on Instagram, they started getting to know me now that, oh, this girl exists. Oh, this girl has started putting herself out there. So a lot of these encouragements also contributed to this entire paradigm shift. And I feel that there is no ceiling to your self improvement. I have been committed and dedicated to improving myself throughout. And we're always learners. Learning never stops.
Oh my God, tell me about it. I have just done, like, since the pandemic, I've done so many courses, and I still think that, I still have to learn so much more. And there's so much upskilling and so much updating that a person requires, because, I'd seen this very beautiful chart that is, these are things that you know, and these are things that you don't know, and these are things that you don't know that you don't know. Oh my God. So, there is, you learn, and like you said, that whatever you're going to learn, that comes to you, and every day there is something or the other that is coming to me. And like you just said that, every day you learn something new, and the multiplier effect, I agree to that 100%. So Devanshi, like, I know you since kindergarten. I just said that, since forever. And I have not only followed you since you started put yourself on social media during the pageant. I remember when you just started off as, like maybe your first live or your first video where you started talking about your yoga and everything. That's when and I said, oh my God, Devanshi is doing this, because, like, all you kids have grown up around us, and, like, suddenly to see somebody who is so little in the backseat of my car. And I still remember your mom and me and other friends and their kids, we were all driving somewhere, and you wanted something. So it's like, that little girl, and now she is, going out there and, doing yoga and everything. So tell us a little bit about yoga, like what got you in there. I know your mom's been a great inspiration, but tell me a little bit about it.
So first of all, I never knew that I'm going to be a yoga instructor. And believe me on this, because when I completed my graduation, I just thought, okay, let's wait for the results. But the results were going to be taking a longer while this time, because of some no, situations that happened in the university. A lot of delays were happening in that year. So my mom pushed me to do yoga, that, okay, just try yoga. And first I used to actually have a belief that yoga is for old people, yoga is not for youngsters. मैं yoga क्यों करूँगी? Because I was doing kickboxing, taekwondo basics. I literally smashed a brick in my college NAC accreditation performance, and I was doing Zumba, I was doing cardio, heavy cardio, and जब तक मैं वो करती नहीं हूँ तब तक I wouldn't feel that I have really done something. So I was actually feeling that yoga will not really help me, but anyway, just try it for a size. So I went to the yoga institute, and I will tell you, I'm not even kidding, the day one was the day I fell in love with the whole vibe of the institute. Trust me, when they told us to do this asana, to do this pranayam and all, it was so challenging for me, and surprisingly, बैठे बैठे कौन इतना थक सकता है? And the benefit after the because you had to move. I had to move to sweat. I had to move to get tired. And that has been known to me from ages. From when I was 16, I embarked on a fitness journey to have a complete body transformation. Because that time, your aesthetic appearance was the motivating factor. But yoga introduced me to something I didn't even know that it is that important. But the more deeper I dived into this, the more I learned about this. So when I was done with my certification as a yoga instructor, I started teaching a kid. So I taught this girl. It was her yoga day, and she was just 12 years old. And in her yoga day, it is a competition for them. But yoga, in the real essence, is nowhere a competition. But when she announced that she had won that competition, was a milestone for her that she has achieved. But for me, it was the flexibility that I got in her body. And kids' body, you easily get flexible very easily in a very short span of time. So from 2 to 3 weeks, I was teaching her. And then she was happy with the results in her overall flexibility, endurance, and in the school, she got that reward. But then I started teaching a middle-aged man. So when I started teaching him some basic asanas, and his body was very stiff initially. And when it was just some trial runs that I was just trying my teaching abilities, that, okay, am I able to really teach and get them good benefits?
Yeah.
But yes, it was just a month's training, and the benefits that he has got in terms of strength and flexibility, and plus, when he's a trader, so he has to be on screen like 24/7, but he still removes that 1 hour of time. And when he feels good enough to handle all the stress that comes with this profession when you do it full time, so he started loving it and finding benefits. So that's where I started feeling that this is the reward for me, and this is something that I will wake up every day to do. And that's exactly how this journey began as a yoga instructor, and everything else that followed with it.
Lovely, lovely. So going back to, now we'll go back to your beauty pageant. Since you said, and since I know you, that you've been shy and quiet. So what was that moment when you decided to enter this pageant?
So the moment it wasn't decided that I will take part in a beauty pageant, but I definitely had that thing to come out of my limiting beliefs that I can't do this, I am not confident in this, so I will limit myself for so many opportunities to come by. So I was actually exploring myself through painting, through belly dancing. So I took these things as a hobby, as a therapeutic hobby, because it's very sad and it's very disheartening to know that when you are timid and shy, and when you're reserved, and in your profession, it's not very demanded. It's very optional that if you want to upload a video or make your own channel or speak or no, it was very optional. It ultimately depends on the results that you're giving to people. But it was very disheartening for me to know that someone out there thinks that I cannot really make it by myself. When because someone told me this, and I'm very grateful for that whole situation to take place, because had it not been me hearing that, I wouldn't have got a wake-up alarm that, okay, now it's time to embark on a new journey. It's time to come out of your limiting beliefs and challenge yourself in a healthy way and rise above anything that stops you.
You
So
know
that was the thing.
what? Sorry, Devanshi, you have just now come up with such a beautiful thought. You know, I have believed this since I've read Many Lives, Many Masters. You know, that
I just
just
read it.
talk, you've read that, and that said that, you know, all of us together that share this lifetime together are soulmates. So that is good,
Definitely.
bad, ugly, everybody. So like you just said, you know, this person was actually trying to be mean to you, but in that way, you know, that person pushed you and got you to the place, created that situation that you could, you know, be and prove to yourself that this. So, you know, before, I mean, I don't know whether this is true or false, but you know, it's probably pre-decided that your soul and that person's soul has probably pre-decided that I'm going to be the mean one, and I'm going to create this situation where you can push yourself. I think that's awesome.
Thank you so much. And yes, definitely anything that challenges you for the good is always to be grateful about, no matter in whichever way it is.
Oh, that is so lovely. Okay. So, so you were saying about what drove you to that. So we were talking about signing the pageant. So then
So
continue the
when,
story.
yes, so when the pageant came by, when I just read an Instagram ad while I was just randomly scrolling on a Sunday. So I got to know that, okay, there is a beauty pageant. I was reading the conditions that, okay, there is no height, waist size, or figure barrier, nothing, because these things can be altered. And what they look for is your inner beauty, your inner glamour, because that's something that they can't groom you for. Like being a good person is something that it is either there or it is not there, but they can groom you in other aspects in terms of what you, how you are dressed, how you have to present yourself while you walk, while you talk and face the camera. And definitely when you have so many people with you as your sister queens, and that we were addressed as queens throughout the journey, that itself is such a good morale booster. So
Hmm.
that's exactly how I signed up for this pageant, knowing these terms and conditions. And I found it that, okay, this is something that I would absolutely represent.
Oh my God, that is beautiful, Evanji. That is amazing. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
can you tell me how has the winning of this beauty pageant uh, you know, altered your changed your life or your goals for the future?
Definitely. I was having multiple goals for me because I'm a very multifaceted individual and I love to explore myself in all respects. So initially, I actually, before lockdown, I had now planned that, okay, I will go to this university because I was selected in one of the top 20 universities in Australia, and it was all on the basis of the merits that you had in terms of your social work and everything else. So when I got that opportunity, the sooner lockdown came by, and then we had to stay stalled for like a year and a half, nearly 2 years. And then I thought I was learning a language. So I was learning Arabic because one person whom I know, a client of mine only, so she is a now she's working as a linguist. So I wanted to actually explore in the outbounds of this country. So I wanted to go abroad and at least work over there. So I decided to do something which will just have me go internationally. And then when this pageant, so I was trying multiple ways. So I was learning Arabic, and just then, in fact, it was just 6 months of me learning Arabic and I know how to read and write. So I was enrolling for this course, for this, for learning this more further. That how do we translate, how do we talk, and all that comes by. So when this pageant came in my life, I'm like, okay, fine. This is another ticket to go international. And I wanted to win it. My prime mover, I will not lie, was this, that okay, I will get to go internationally to represent my country. And like this, it will be very good for me. I will learn so many things along the way, and I will become better in terms of my whole personality, because I was also searching for a personality development class. But I got
Okay.
all these things together and even more than what I expected.
Oh, lovely.
So
That is
that,
amazing. That is awesome.
exactly.
Okay, so tell me, do you remember that during, when you're in an experience like this, you always have stories to tell. So, like during the pageant, do you remember any particularly memorable stories while practicing or while doing things or learning things?
You know why there is a smile on my face? Because I already recall that. And and it is like when I was learning how to apply makeup, I thought I knew how to apply makeup because my best friend is a makeup artist and she used to do her makeup on me, and whatever little tips and tricks she would tell me, I would do that. But
Right.
then when I started doing makeup on my own, it was a different ball game altogether. So me and another sister queen of mine, we were sitting side by side, and then sir was teaching us with half face makeup that he will do, and the other half of the face I will have to do by myself, and they both have to match exactly the same way. So that's how we were taught how to apply our own makeup. But
Okay.
he taught us how to apply a primer. Okay, fine. I know how to apply a primer now. And how to apply a foundation. He told me, okay, now the first half you will start doing it. I will see first that how you apply foundation. And it was a liquid foundation. So it was like just getting it on my palm, and then I'm putting it like a moisturizer. And that's the time when he told me, that's the time when he told me, stop. He told me, stop, stop. And I'm like, what did I do? Like, why? It's like, wait. Now, he called his assistant to uh, show how this is applied. This teensy bit quantity has to be dabbed all along this face, and I applied foundation equal to 4 faces in just half a face. So I was literally, when he was telling me, when he was suggesting me, and while I was seeing that whole process, I covered this half face of mine and I was like trying to pay attention. And that man is so intelligent. He's my makeup mentor. And he was laughing, looking at me, see how you're hiding your face. And I
Oh
never
my,
repeated that mistake ever again.
oh my God. That is so cool. So Mamta auntie is here right now. You want to say hi to Mamta?
Hi, Mamta auntie. How are you? It's a pleasure to see you here.
So Mamta, I was just telling her that we were going in the car. We've had so many beautiful memories of school where we would dump all our kids in the back seat and all the mamas would take them koi birthday party, McDonald's, Happy Meal, ye, wo, some class, some.
Those were the days.
Oh my God, those were the days, seriously. Okay. So, how has yoga, we were talking about yoga, how has yoga helped in your pageant journey?
Yoga helped me to turn from an aggressive person to a calmer person, to a rational minded person who will not lose her temper in a fit of anger, and she would rationally analyze the situation and then react or respond to it. And more than react, it is responding. So, yoga taught me the art of objectivity, the art of living, because yoga definitely is a way of life. Your body cannot be flexible till your mind does not is not ready to accept. And it
Wow.
has, yes, because yoga is just more than a physical exercise. It's more of a mental makeover first, and then your body follows, because everything is interconnected, your body, breath, mind, everything together. And when I used to do taekwondo, I was very aggressive, very aggressive. I used to do HIIT, everything that involves very high levels of energy. So it used to leave you more drained than happy. So when
Okay.
I so yoga was a food for the mind, body, and soul all together. And after embarking on this whole yoga journey and meeting people from various walks of life, I learned that life is so much more than just what you're facing around you. It's so much more than that. People come with their stories. People have their own kind of challenges and obstacles that they fight with every single day. And still they are taking out time for their well-being, for their self-love. So it's not about eliminating challenges, it's all the art of walking around it, walking through it, and facing them up front and battling out of your comfort zone. So that's something that I learned from my students. So they say that, okay, they learn something from me, but I have learned more from my students than what I would have otherwise learned. So then coming to this pageant, I was very rational minded. I was very objective in my approach that I will give my best and do what it takes. If it has made me a better person, then I have won it. So I wasn't
Yes.
really competing with anyone else because I don't believe in competing with anyone, because we all out here are having our own unique strengths and abilities, and nothing can be so no one else can be the exact same version of you. So that's the thought that I always live by. So for me, it's always been a win-win.
Oh my God, I have tears in my eyes now. My makeup is all going to this. I can't even believe that, you guys, all you young people are so zen. You guys are so sorted, and the things that you say that really, really move me. And the one thing High on Art just said, so well said. I have done yoga on and off, but I have never heard anybody say this, that your head will, your mental makeup that you said, once your head is sorted, and that's when your body will follow. That is so well said. Awesome,
Thank you so
awesome. So
much.
yeah, Voice of Gaurav says congratulations, Devanshi.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. So he's a very, so he knows me from college. So he has seen me being, so I was in dramatics, but I never took part in anything because I was not confident. So he knew me from that time, from the FYJC times. And now he's seeing me out here coming live.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I mean, you're live, and how? I mean, you're like a live wire on this live, because the things that you say and the things, the way you say it, Devanshi, I'm so proud of you. So proud of you.
Thank
Okay,
you so
so
much.
have we finished? Because we keep I keep getting so beach me so proud of you that I forget whether you've completed your story or not.
No, no, of course I have completed it.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you, since we are on this yoga thing, tell us a little bit more about your yoga experience, your corporate work with yoga, and your wins. You've already spoken about some of the wins, but if you like to tell us some more about them.
So the first time I had got a corporate training, so I was a part of an organization that used to give me these corporate trainings and everything. So I worked for very reputed corporates, and it was a fantastic experience for me. So I worked for HPCL, the Hindustan Petroleum Corporation, the WeWork, and then I worked for Tata Steel. So Tata Steel ka to it was a trip, it was a recreation trip for them. So they were very high on booze that evening, and I was tensed if they will come in the morning 7 o'clock, because we were taken. So me with another girl who was anchoring over there for their events, which they annually conduct. So this was happening in Daman. So when I went there, and I was like, no ways anyone's gonna turn up by 7 a.m. in the morning in this, in such broad daylight, and like they were having their dinner, they were high on booze. So then I was surprised seeing the number of people that morning, and I'm like, wow, they really want to do yoga.
I'm sure half of them turned out just to see you because you're so pretty. And I'm sure okay, it's not about now, it's clearly not about your outer beauty, because I'm sure if you would have given them an introduction about yoga the way you said on this live, awesome. That's just awesome. I'm sold. I'm completely sold.
And then people are doing yoga on the chair, and so in Daman it was in the lawn, but the other HPCL and we work, I taught them how to do yoga on the chair. So while they are working completely hooked on their screen, if they have some time out, maybe just 5 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever it can be, yoga is such a flexible form of art. I wouldn't even call it an exercise. It is an art. So it is an art of loving yourself throughout your schedules. And whenever life demands something extra from you, and you manage your way to love yourself too, because you can never pour from an empty cup. And that's what I told them, to take care of themselves first. So they've also gladly learned, and it was a very fun experience. And I recall that one, and it was only one of it which had a size of more than 200 people. It was a big corporate, and then it was more than 200 people out there. And I was like, it was very overwhelming that, okay, all of them are very interested to do yoga, because it wasn't really very compulsory for them. It's very optional. But since there is an event that has been taken place on a yoga day, so then definitely they were very much in for it. They were more keen to know. And I made them do core exercises on the chair. Because they all
Wow, you have to run one live session or some session for all us our age mummies, menopausal mummies, where our cores are just going out of our hands.
definitely, I would gladly do that. In fact, when I started on my yoga journey, I didn't know that I have a weak core also. I thought, okay, everything is fine. I am doing this, that, taekwondo basics and everything. But if I am not strengthening my core, and trust me, this is the seat of emotions. So there is a chakra over here, the Manipura chakra. It is the seat of emotion. So it is the first portion. Your navel area is the first portion to get nutrition from the mother's womb. And that is when you are not knowing how to take control of this, you will not be in harmony or mental peace, because it's a seat of emotion. So when you strengthen that, you are better able to have an attitude of objectivity, of great resilience, of mental strength also. So I'm excited to start this whenever you would like to.
Oh my God, that is awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, so moving on, Devanshi, I had seen one of your posts where you did a campaign on anti-bullying in your pageant. So, what inspired you to take up this cause? Was there a particular story back in your childhood where you experienced this on someone else or yourself? Why did you why anti-bullying?
So it was both of them. So as a child, I definitely faced a lot of bullying because I was very timid and introvert, and definitely those silent kids are taken for granted a lot, because this it was the time where there used to be a lot of preaching might is right. So those people who were outspoken, those people who were having some kind of a physical strength, they were trying to mess up with you, and they were trying to like uh, irritate you, trouble you. So this all becomes bullying. And apart from that, it was like in the neighboring society, some of the people from the school were only there, and we used to play together. Whenever they used to call me, I used to come down. But I used to initially think, and every day I used to go down, I used to think, okay, they are making friends with me. Okay, maybe things can change because they have called me some message. So then I came down, and they played a few games, and then after that they again start troubling you, irritating you, messing up with you. So no matter how good I was trying to get with people, people never wanted to do the same. And it always takes two to create anything, like any relation or any friendship or any dynamic. So it was a very disturbing time, because there used to be like my mother was definitely in support of this, but apart from that, when you so the whole day your parent is not there with you in school, so any which way the damage is done, and you have to bear it. And how much to speak about this? So I just wished if I could confide in someone back then who would put an end to this. And maybe people didn't know. People thought that doing this is fun and this is cool. And so many of them have grown up to apologize to me. So it is really very good of them, and people change. I'm saying that we all change with time, but back then when we didn't have the awareness, so that's where I want to step in. Because when these things happen, it takes a toll over your studies, your exam grades, your whole self-esteem. So I don't want that to happen in any capacity to anyone out there, because they would think that if this happens to them, and they will be remaining helpless. And there are so many voices who want to speak up, but they don't get any person whom they could confide in. And I want to step in to bridge this understanding gap between people. So when I initially, and also my friends, so when we just sit and chit chat and we meet many of my school friends, so I made very good friends in the 8th, ninth, and 10th. So that was a time I had started speaking a little. I had started not being a very quiet kid. I became very likable by some of the teachers. So I used to be fairly interactive, but still that stage confidence was lagging and all that. So it takes a lot of time and inner work for that, which it took. But when my friends told that, okay, I also faced a lot of bullying with me, I'm like, oh, I thought it was only me, because
Yeah.
because I would only see that about it. But when they told, they were body shamed, they were color shamed, and it took a toll over their self-esteem. So they came out of it making some artworks of what they were before, what they were now, and they're healing. They're still in the process of healing from that trauma. But I can definitely guarantee that none of them was intentional. So I want to
Right.
actually make kindness the new normal in the youth of today, in the children of today, so that before any damage is done, we address it. We just prevent it from happening only overall. So it's no more cool to play with anyone's self-esteem, to make fun of someone. It's imagine no how this world would be when when each and every student is encouraging each other, is trying to help them and fill in the gaps with the unique strengths. So this world will definitely be such an amazing place to be. So that's what I
Yeah.
strongly believe in.
That is so, so beautiful. So I think Gaurav also says something like this. We shouldn't underestimate anyone in our lives. Instead, we should help them out and boost their morale. So,
Very true.
Devanshi, yeah, Devanshi, you know what I have noticed, probably from my time and from the time that all of you were in school, my children were in school with you, is that
Mm-hmm.
these are always troubled at home. They're probably going through something so um, extreme in their homes that they probably, it's a domino effect, and then they want to come and do that to some people at this. And I love that line, that let's make kindness the new normal, and let's just be kind. And I like that you want to make this a thing in schools where, and like you said, that if you could just confide. And this is so true, that like even my children never came to me and said ye ho raha hai, wo ho raha hai. They just, like, I was
Mm-hmm.
on the phone with you the other day, and
Mm-hmm.
they just sorted things out on their own. And then you get to know, like, 2 years later, that this happened, and you were like, why didn't you tell mom, and mom could sort this out and stuff like that. But yes,
Very
I'm
true.
sure if we can approach more schools and make
Definitely.
people aware that yeah, making fun of uh, people who are quiet is not a good thing, is not like a cool thing to do.
And also
That is
there, it
so
wasn't
well said.
also, thank you so much, Auntie. And it's also not about the shy kids. It was also about the new admission kids. So
Yes,
everyone
yes,
have faced
fun
this.
with everybody. Yeah, it was
Yes,
with
yes.
everybody. Yeah.
But it's so beautiful that we all have come out of it, and now we are out there to fill in these gaps and to address this as a serious
Right.
issue. हम लोग उसको पहले ऐसे ही जाने देते थे that okay, kids do this and do that and they will become better, but then it becomes a very serious issue later on. So that's the thing we should never underestimate.
Absolutely, absolutely. It cannot be underestimated, because I've had stories from my times and my children's time. And yes, like you said, it affects it's almost like life and death back in school. You know, it affects your studies, affects your performance. You don't want to take part in things. You don't want to go to school on some days. You just tell your parents that, you know, I'm not feeling too well. I don't want to go, because you're so scared of that one bully who would probably, you know, say a cruel word to you, and then, you know, that happened. I'm absolutely sure. And I'm so happy that, you know, somebody as young as you who can actually connect your wavelength with the younger kids, and I'm sure they'll listen to you. And we should actually you know, I would love to join you on this journey. So whenever you're planning something, hit me up, and
Definitely.
we should do this together. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much, Auntie. Definitely we will do this together.
Okay, so same question with this. How do you believe we can create a more inclusive, welcoming environment in school, workplaces, communities for people coming from diverse backgrounds? You've already answered it, but if you like to add something more.
Definitely. It's been a big story, so I will always have something to add up. So I feel that inclusivity is so important because we are compartmentalized and we are creating sections and groups and conforming to the norms of that group and creating separate clusters of people. I feel that to make a difference, kindness should be rewarded because kindness sometimes is very underestimated virtue. हम लोग सोचते that okay, this person is being kind to me. Okay, fine. ये तो it's a normal thing. Like it's a duty of one human being to another, and we kind of discount it without even knowing about it. But it is not a normal human virtue when you see that it's becoming so scarce in this era of free information where so many brutal things are happening, not only to human beings, to animals also. There are cases coming up every time, and I'm very closely connected to animals from the time of lockdown when I was seeing them. So basic kindness is lagging in the people around when they say no, like not to feed, otherwise we will take action. So just a small story on that where I took a stand against it single-handedly, and I called PETA. And I told that so and so thing is happening against animals. They are troubled, they are spat on, and they are not allowing me to feed them, and they are threatening me that they will take some serious actions against me. So PETA issued a notice in no time. In around 2 to 3 days, the notice was issued. It was on the bulletin of the society, accompanied by a police visit, and not once, twice. And those people started fuming with anger and rage, and they just started telling that how can you do this? So then rest is all a history. But I feel that inclusivity is so much important, and it is yet so underestimated. It's so underrated. We think that we live in the world where now we don't do no difference between now people coming from different walks of life, and but we don't see this picture where we are not being inclusive in so many other ways, and that definitely involves lack of kindness. So when you are nothing but kind, you are evolving as a human race collectively. So that's like a small sneak peek to what really happened. And this was also a part of what drove me to starting this whole thing. So in the students also, so I was planning on that, like the kindness curriculum that I want to introduce. And human beings are heavily, they feel amazing after being rewarded. So they heavily crave for those rewards. And so when you are rewarding some little kind behavior, some soft skill that they have without saying that it's something that they are fragile or weak or, so sometimes we even So when we used to back then get awards for soft skills, people used to just say, it's a soft skills ke liye isko award mila. Only those people who have achieved something in terms of great percentages in academics, some great ranks, and then they're awarded, that's something that they look at, which is driving us to a concern that there is so much of focus on IQ. There is so much of importance given to your intelligence, intellectual quotient than your emotional quotient. So even if we can get good ranks, you can rank number one. But if you don't have the basic understanding and cognitive abilities to maintain human relations, how to be with people, what to give back to the society, you can't go any far.
Oh my God, Devanshi, I am floored. I am your biggest number one fan. I just love it. I mean, it could not be any more well articulated the way you've said it, you know. I do this brain secrets, and there is a measure where you can actually measure IQ, EQ, creative
Wow.
quotient, that is CQ, and AQ, that is
Mm-hmm.
adversity quotient. And I cannot tell you enough that, you know, what you've just said, like, you know, in our country, it's always about marks. Kitne marks? 98.6 and 99.6. And I'm sure those children are gifted and they have the IQ and the EQ. But like you rightly said, that EQ also deserves like an award or a kindness, like something that Dr. Brit Bihari said very rightly. He says beauty with brains. I mean, I am literally, I'm so proud of you, Devanshi.
Thank you so much, Auntie.
Okay, so I want to go back to your pageant and your self-care and everything. How do you prioritize self-care, mental health in your busy schedule? What are some of the tips that you will give to some of the others that struggle balancing their own self-care needs with other commitments? And what is the message to multitaskers? And before that, everybody that is joining us from Devanshi's side, please go follow the Paradigm Shift .co. We bring you interesting stories like Devanshi and a lot of other shifters that make a paradigm shift in the life of their own life and in others' life to bring about a better society. Okay,
And
so
also,
back
one
to
thing I need to
self-care.
add on to this is that thank you. You are doing such a great job already from the time of lockdown when you started with this whole page paradigm shift. And I have seen through your posts and everything, it is truly inspirational. It moves people to make major shifts. So, thank you so
Okay.
much. And I am honored and privileged to be a part of this.
Oh, that is so sweet. Thank you, Devanshi. Okay, so going back to how do you prioritize self-care?
So it is definitely very challenging because the more responsibilities you take up, the challenges. So it's very like you just have 24 hours a day and time flies like this, like in a snap of a finger. And when I start my day, I will start with my self-care first. So I will prioritize that on my number one list because I strongly practice and preach that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So when I'm having my classes first, I will do my classes first. If I have my classes later, then I will work out first. So after my first class, I will go for my workout and then take my other classes during the first half of the day. I just have a 1 hour workout and I always plan my sequence. I pre-plan it a day before that, okay, today I'm going to do abs. Today I'm going to do these many Surya Namaskars. Today I'm going to do legs. Today I'm going to do full body circuit, weight training, and the list goes on. Because not that I'm only doing just these workouts in the gym. I'm also learning belly dancing. So I'm giving my time for that too. So I flexibly, I'm able to move my self-care around, and it's a very easy tips. So in this weather, especially when there is so much of sun exposure, because I'm going all the way to South Bombay,
Yeah, now you're okay. Now you're back.
Okay. So there is a lot of things that even the weather determines. So my skin care is very well planned by my skin doctor. So I make sure that I am taking advice from professionals to take care of my skin, my hair, my vitamins, everything, because it takes so much of energy, not only physically but also mentally, to now be well equipped to take on these responsibilities, because teaching kids is no easy feat. So I'm teaching science to 10 standard SSC students, and when I have to explain them in Hindi, because they are definitely doing this exam in Hindi medium, and there is one student who is doing in English, so I have to prepare my lessons and notes in both these languages, and it's serving good only because I'm learning better Hindi. I'm learning to speak better and to be very well articulated in Hindi also. So that will help me in so many other respects. And like you said, nothing just comes as a coincidence. It is always a pre-planned thing. So taking it as that, so this came by, then I'm taking another batch of my classes, then I'm doing my belly dancing, then I'm preparing notes, and I'm also learning, I'm also studying my cognitive behavioral therapy course, so that with the cause, with the social cause that I am going to move forward with, I should be able to be equipped with these skills. So
Right.
I'm doing my diploma in cognitive behavioral therapy too. So managing my studies, my notes, and also my social interactions. So I'm also a very outgoing person. So if I'm going to study, I make it a little fun. So I'm sometimes studying at home, sometimes I'm going to a cafe. So I'm sitting with my friend, and that's even motivated her to pick a book and study now with me.
Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. So,
Yes.
Nisha wants to know about self-reflection, exercise, your mental muscle resilience building, and how do you work on that? So, Nisha, you have missed where Devanshi is a yoga instructor. So, she said a very beautiful line. I am going to let Devanshi take this question, but before that, she said, if your mind does not agree to it, your body will not follow. So she's already there. So Devanshi, do you want to answer that?
Yes, of course. Hi, Nisha. Thanks for bringing this question to me. So, your mind is a muscle, firstly, because firstly, that has to be strengthened, that has to become flexible so that your body follows automatically. And I told in the previous question that when you are consistently practicing and when you are uh, determined to change something about yourself, humility comes, and with humility, your flexibility improves. So, the more we are accepting, the more our body flexibility increases, our body strengthens, because before our body, it is our mind that has manifested that bodily strength. And mind definitely plays a very crucial role, because I don't know if you know that when I had embarked on this journey being as a yoga instructor, I never thought that this is going to be something that I will professionally do. But it came by because the benefits that I experienced were remarkable. An aggressive person like me who used to do karate, kickboxing, taekwondo basics, to a person who now objectively analyzes situations, who knows how to walk around the challenges and obstacles presented on me. Even if one cannot eliminate the challenging situations in life, one should know how to gracefully flow with it. One should know how to manage and be mentally equipped to find a solution than to focus on problems. So I believe that whenever you are focusing on something, that becomes bigger, like the magnifying glass effect. So when I put magnifying glass on a particular object, it might be seen more largely. So if I'm looking at my problems, they become bigger. But if I look for solutions, then you're only knowing your way ahead. I hope
Lovely,
I answered
lovely,
your
lovely.
question, Nisha.
Oh my God, that is so beautifully said. Nisha has been a mentor on the paradigm shift, and I'm sure she is so proud of you. I'm sure she's going to go back and see the rest of your interview, and she's going to be very, very impressed with whatever you said. I am impressed, very impressed. Okay.
Thank you.
Devanshi, moving on to almost the second last question. What advice do you have uh, for the girls that want to take part in a pageant? She says, great, and thank you so much, Nisha.
You're welcome. So I would say that there were so many girls whom I have seen that they say that they don't have a good height, or I cannot take part in a beauty pageant. And I would just tell this story that moved me towards going for a more inclusive beauty pageant, despite having a good height, a qualified figure, and everything else. So why I took part in this pageant was is something to know about before considering to enroll yourself for any pageant. You can definitely be a beauty queen, whatever, and that has nothing to do with your looks if substance is something that you are strongly having. Secondly, there is no height, weight, and any vital statistic barrier in this beauty pageant where I took part in. Initially, I had taken part in a pageant, I think 5 years back. So when I took part in a different pageant, there were a lot of height, weight, waist size criteria, and it was so I didn't have a very qualifying body for that pageant. I was just on a very healthy side back then. I wasn't having that toned and lean and ripped figure that they wanted from people to be qualifying to represent them. So it really hurted me because there were so many girls along with me who were just 5'4.5", and with that half inch, the 5'5" was the criteria for that pageant. Just that point 0.5, and they were very educated women, very intelligent women, and they are left behind because of just a 0.5-inch difference. So that was something that didn't come as good to me. And then when I walked, and I wasn't having a perfect figure back then. So in the second walk, I was also eliminated. So I take up things as a challenge. I take up things in a positive way. But I strongly do not advocate for any body shaming. Definitely, it's very good to have a good body just for yourself, for your fitness and fulfillment. You don't have to change a thing about yourself if you don't feel like it. If you're a person of substance and that you know that you have that inner glamour, that's all the world needs to see. So when I got selected in my interview with this organization, I was qualified on the basis of how I answered their question, what my beliefs were, why am I embarking on this journey, what is something that drives and inspires me, and how can I be a force for good for people around me? What do I really want to give back to people? And that's something that this pageant considers, transcending your physical and external appearances. So I feel you can absolutely do anything and be anything you want to at any time of your life. It's never too late. So go for it if your heart says so.
Awesome. So Amaya says, go girl. Nisha says, you think these should be renamed as personality pageants and not beauty bias pageants. I think absolutely, Nisha, so well said.
Definitely. You have a point, Nisha. So it has your personality plays an integral part in any beauty pageant, name whatsoever. So when you are even when you're having good looks, very pretty, picture perfect face, a good figure, sometimes even then you are left behind because you are not carrying that substance. Obviously, finding a combination of all both these things is rare, but that doesn't mean that those people should be left behind, those who have real substance, and they might not be qualified for anything else that they put up as beauty standards or stereotypes around beauty. I think the definition of beauty has to become even more inclusive.
Absolutely, so well said. I mean, my next question was going to be your one message to the viewers, but okay, before that, you've already come up with such beautiful messages, Devanshi. Once again, everybody that is joining us from Devanshi's side, please go follow the paradigm shift, and you can see her entire live. We'll be putting that up on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and Twitter, so that everybody who's not on social media, all the seniors, they can see it on YouTube. And we're going to have lots and lots of more very interesting people. And everybody that is joining us from the Paradigm Shift page, please go follow Devanshi. We will be tagging her in this interview, because now she's going to go for her international pageant, and we all are going to be there cheering for her, because she's such a charming young lady. And Ameya says barriers are in the mind, and that is very, very powerful, whatever you just said. So
Thank you so much, Amaya.
Wills Patrick says, wow, girl. Okay. So your message to all your followers, fans, friends, family, and the paradigm shift.
I would only say that just be you, because no one can ever be the second best version of yourself. And just do what your heart says, and never be limited by some belief systems, and break those old shackles, because we have outgrown them. We have become bigger and more stronger now. And now that we are aware, we will definitely overcome them and create a community for kindness, compassion, and love, and spread a smile wherever you go. Thank you so much.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. This has been such a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much for a wonderful evening. All you guys have a great weekend. Simran says, always cheering. I love you. Dr. Brit Bihari says, best wishes. And yes, everybody. So yeah, so so we're going to upload this live as soon as we finish. Thank you so much, Devanshi. All the very best, and we'll be
Thank
there
you
cheering for you.
so much, Auntie. Glad to be a part of this.
Thank you. And Shama says beautiful. Yes, Devanshi is beautiful.
Thank
In and
you.
out everywhere. Bye. See you. Take
Bye
care.
bye. See you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.